Hello. In this lesson, we'll talk about the differences between skilled and unskilled writers. Skilled writers are not necessarily perfect writers. Yeah, they are writers who can manage the resources that are available to them, right? We're all different. Yeah, we can't be just the same. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. And remember that skilled writers are aware of their strengths and limitations. So if you know your strengths, it means you can use them to your advantage. Okay, your strong points. Yeah. And if you know your limitations, you need to think of some ways of how to compensate them, right? You can't be without limitations. Like there's no person without drawbacks, but it's not about drawbacks. It's more about limitations because we're all different, right? Somebody has a lot of, when I write, for example, I make a lot of repetitions. I repeat vocabulary and I use the same word just from sentence to sentence, and I know about this because I free write a lot. I know that this happens and I'm okay about that because I know that then later I'm going to return, but I'm very good at editing and I will edit what I have written. So I'm relaxed about that, right? And some students have other limitations. Yeah. And you have to think of ways of going about those limitations, right? And this is one of the goals of the writing instruction. Yeah. You need to help your learners to discover their strong and weak points and find some ways of compensating just their weaknesses. Yeah. And since they're more aware of those, they know where they need more support. Yeah, because if we have some limitations, we might need more support at those points, right? And they have to know how they can get it. Yeah. And they know how their brain reacts to different stimuli. Say, if they get some task and they've never done any background reading on that, oh, some people know, oh, it's okay for me, I won't get stressed. But some people know that, oh, I'll get stressed out. Or whenever they can't generate ideas immediately, they start getting stressed out. I say brain here. I intentionally avoid using the word person. Because if we say, oh, like if we talk to the students and we try to just help them to learn about themselves, yeah, and if you say, look, your reaction is really kind of strange, yeah? Your reaction, you react, you, and oh, if they react, there's something wrong with them. That's the impression they can get, right? For this reason, I use the word brain, although sometimes if we get stressed out, yeah, the reaction comes from the brain, but it's all about the emotions as well, and they generate those things themselves. They are involved, but I avoid doing that on purpose. It's not you. It's not about you. It's about your brain. Because it's actually like the brain that generates there's some instant thought appears and triggers some emotional response. Yeah, and I say it's your brain, and they think, oh, it's not me. It's my brain. It's okay. Everything's okay with me. Yeah, and just there's something I can't control. And it's first of all, before learning to deal with it, you have to know what happens. And and for this reason, we have to be very, very careful, and we have to notice what's going on during the process of instruction, during the learning process, how they react to mistakes, how they react to the lack of, certainty, lack of clarity, how they react to ambiguity, how they react when they start struggling. Yeah, so they need to learn about their own reactions, and you need to see how they react so that you could help them to deal with that, right? And skilled writers know about that. They know themselves very well. That's what makes them distinct from unskilled writers. Yeah. And they never stop exploring themselves because they can't say, oh, I know everything about myself. You can never know everything about yourself. Never. It's like the depth is just immeasurable. You can only start. Yeah, you can never stop, right? So that's about skilled writers. And unskilled writers are just the opposite. So they are not aware of themselves at all. They don't know themselves. So they might not be ready for that. They might not have had any previous experience of exploring themselves. Yeah, if their previous teacher just told them what to do, like don't think, just do. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it can spoil the process because just do, don't think. It's a road nowhere. Like students have to learn to understand what they're doing and why they're doing, and themselves as learners, themselves as human beings, right? And since they're not aware of themselves, their like strengths and their weaknesses, their limitations, they can't take remedial action whenever it's required, So whenever a problem arises, they can't do anything about it because they can't recognize the problem. They can't recognize where they have problems. Yeah. Okay. So just unskilled writers are just blissfully ignorant about themselves as learners. Yeah. And as a result, since they don't know anything or they don't know much about themselves, they might have very unrealistic expectations about their performance. So since I don't know about my just capabilities, about my scope, about my limits, how far I can go, there are no limits, there are no borders. As a result, my expectations are everywhere. If you have unrealistic expectations, it means you're not aware of these, okay? And as a result, they get stressed out when things go wrong because, like, things were supposed to go right. Why do they go wrong? Yeah, and they react just painfully to mistakes and everything, yeah? And you see, all these things are so much interconnected. And as a result, they don't know how their brain reacts to things. Yeah, and it means, again, you can't take remedial action. You can't help. Like, they can't help themselves. You can't help them. Because, like, knowing about yourself is about knowing the target and you know where to shoot. Yeah, if you have a rifle and you can shoot, you have this resource, you have to know where just what to aim for, but you can't even aim at just, you have no target. Okay. And they fail to explore themselves. Either just they don't want, because sometimes it's unpleasant. It's about reflecting. It's about looking at yourself. It's painful. It's unpleasant because if we talk about, yeah, it's okay to recognize your strengths, but you have to recognize your weaknesses and your limitations, right? You have to say, yes, this is how things work with me. This is the problems that I have. Yeah, it's not good, it's not bad. And first of all, it's about also helping your learners to understand that it's not about criticizing themselves or you criticizing them, right? It's about seeing their point A realistically where we are. And this will help you to diagnose them better, right? But they have to just open up a little bit and just start learning about themselves and help you to help them, right? Okay. So that's about the need to explore yourself as a learner, right? And helping your students to explore themselves as